Hey there everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album War. Today we've got two mid-80s releases that are fairly different from each other, but they're both live albums. They're both pretty decent ones, actually. And despite the fact that one's like a bluesy guitar player, a blues rock album, the other is more of like a kind of like, you know, hard rock / pop rock, whatever you want to call these guys. We're going to talk about them together today anyway, all right? So the first one, from 1984, Styx Caught in the Act, all right? And the other, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble from 1986, Live Alive, all right? So let's talk about the early one first from 1984. Recorded in April of 1983, okay, from New Orleans, Louisiana. All right, we got Caught in the Act. Basically, this is Styx, probably at the height of their popularity, but just before the decline. Okay, the mid-'80s come around. Of course, Styx no longer the massive sellers they once were. A lot of riffs start happening in the band. Obviously, the whole Mr. Roboto Kilroy Was Here album kind of did a job in tearing the band apart a little bit, as well as the fan base. But this is just a good representation. It's the first official live album from the band. Okay, too bad they waited so long. And it includes like all sorts of great selections from a lot of their albums up to that time. So you've got kicking off with Music Time. All right, and then of course you got Mr. Roboto, Too Much Time on My Hands, Babe. Okay, because you can kind of see, based on the track selections, right, you got the influence of Dennis DeYoung very, very strong in the band right around this time. Over on side 2, you've got Snowblind, a snarling Snowblind. Okay, great vehicle for James J.Y. Young. I was going to say Jeff Young. State Street Sadie, okay, all right. Sweet Madam Blue, got to have that on here. Really good version here, all right? It's a great tune, always done by Styx live. Fantastic on here. Then you got Rockin the Paradise, okay, Blue Collar Man, Long Nights, Tommy Shaw at his best. Then Miss America, another JY song. Don't Let It End, Boat on the River, okay? And then over on side 4, you got Fooling Yourself, The Angry Young Man, of course, from The Grand Illusion. Crystal Ball, from the album of the same name, great tune. And Come Sail Away, their big hit off of the Grand Illusion album. So, a good selection of tracks. Okay? Good selection of tracks. Probably a few too many, Dennis DeYoung ballads, but that was what was big at the time, right? And a decent selling live album. There've been other live albums released since then of, post this era, as well as, some kind of official boots that you can get out there from some really early stuff, from the late 70s or mid-late 70s. But I think it's a good live album. It's not great because I think that, the track list could have been a little bit better. But again, Paradise Theater and Kilroy, that was the kind of happening albums at the time. So it's very heavy on those two albums. But threw a lot of kind of old classic nuggets in there, which I kind of dig. But I like the album, right? I dig it. On the other end, we've got Live Alive from Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, this album, when it was released, again recorded at the Montreux Jazz Festival, as well as the Austin Opera House and the Dallas Starfest from the 1985 and 1986 tour. This is Stevie kind of at the height of his addictions, right? After a few stellar studio albums, I think everybody was kind of screaming for a blistering Stevie Ray Vaughan live album. Not really sure this is it. It's damn good though, but it's just like, I think that at that time, I don't know how much more Stevie could have given on stage based on what was going on with him, but all things considered, I remember a lot of critics and even some fans were not huge on this album when it first came out. I always thought it was pretty good, though. Kicking off with Say What, okay? Great instrumental tune. I always liked that song. Then you got Ain't Gonna Give Up on Love, all right? Pride and Joy, Mary Had a Little Lamb, a pretty rockin' Superstition, okay? It's Stevie Wonder original, that's done very well by Double Trouble here. I think probably one of the tunes from this album that got the most kind of notoriety back when it was first released. Then you got I'm Leaving You, Cold Shot, Willie the Wimp, Look at Little Sister, all right? Texas Flood, which is great on here. A remarkable Voodoo Child. Okay. Love Struck Baby, Change It, and Life Without You. So really a lot of the more, I don't want to say hits, but some of the more popular tunes from all those studio albums are on here. Okay. And perform very, very well. I think just people kind of always felt, though, that it was not as kind of like sensational as it should be. But I always dug it, right? So if I had to choose between the two of these, again, they're very different. And you guys know how big of a Styx fan I am, right? I really am. And I've always loved Ray Vaughan. I don't even know what, and again, I've never like loved either one of these live albums, but I do like them quite a bit. Okay, so I guess for me, trying to choose is kind of tough because neither one is like premier, either of these acts. But I think they're both pretty damn good. You know what? I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna go with Stevie on this one. Like I said, this is good, but I just Stevie is a guitar player, whether he was in the thrust of his addictions or not. A phenomenal player, and like I said, I never really agreed with kind of the a lot of the flack this album got. I think it's pretty damn good. Could it have been better? Sure. But you can't beat the song selection, and there's a lot of great guitar playing on here. Maybe it's his maybe it's not Stevie's most sizzling live document, right? There have been other ones that are released from earlier in the career, which are actually probably better. But this is the one I decided to go with today, and I dig it, right? I dig it. So it's going to be my winner here. Split decision, all right? Whatever. Doesn't really matter, right? But both good. Maybe not the out-and-out classics that we wanted them to be, but both good, all right? And curious to see what you guys think. See that little white circle up there with the I in it, the letter I in it. Click on that. You can vote for Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble, or Styx. Let us know which one you prefer and why. You can also go vote on our Facebook page. In a week, we will see which one of these moves on to round 2. All right, and visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube every damn day. So we'll see you guys real soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.